Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Yasser Ahmed. So in this video tutorial, we will continue to look at JavaScript and we're going to be focusing on creating some functions. So what we're going to have is a prompt for the user to enter some numbers. So we'll have two numbers initially, number one and number two. And then what we're going to do is create some functions. So the functions will either add or multiply the values. Okay. So let's get started. So I've got a title here, simple calculator. Okay. And what I'm going to do is go to the body section of the HTML. And in the body section, we want to output the results from the functions. So I'm just going to add some tags to output this information. So let me just open and close H1. And what we need to do is add an identifier for the addition function. Okay, so we're going to get some results being output here at some point. And if I copy and paste this, we can change this addition to multiplication. Okay, so if I preview this right now, if I save and go to the preview, you can see nothing is coming up right now, and that's fine. That's what we should have. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add the script in. And the first part is to allow the user to enter two numbers. Okay, so we want to prompt them. So we're going to create a variable, and the first variable we can call it num1, short for number one, equals. And since we're going to be entering in integers, we can type in parseInt prompt, and then in speech marks, give them the prompt. So what do you want the user to enter? So we want them to enter the first number. So enter number one. Okay, and we can duplicate this, copy and paste, change the name of the variable to number two or number two, and enter number two. Okay, now that you've done that, let's just check if that works, and we can enter two numbers. So enter number one, 5, and then 6. Yep, so what we can do at this point is we can enter two numbers into variables. The second part is now to create a function, and the first function is going to add up the numbers, okay? And then the second function will be to multiply the two numbers. So I'm going to type in here or select function, okay? And then give your function a name. So I'm going to call mine sum. Okay, open up the brackets, and what we now need to do is insert here the variables that will be part of this function. So let's type in here num1 and num2. Open up these curly brackets, and what do we want to return? So we basically want to return num1 plus num2, since we're going to be adding these values using this function here. Okay, what I'm going to do, just to save myself a bit of time, is copy and paste this function. And the great thing about using functions is we don't need to rewrite code. We can write the code for the function once and then use it as many times as we like. This function here is going to be called times. And instead of adding, we're going to be multiplying. Okay, so using number one and number two. Right. What we will now want to do, let me just go down a little bit. We now need to create some variables. And the variables will basically be the calculations from the functions. So the outputs, basically. So if I type in here var, and then the first function is called, do you know what, I'm going to call this f sum, f times. So the function to sum and the function to times. So the variable, I'm going to call it just sum, and it's going to be equals the name of the function, okay, and including the variables in the brackets. Whoops, basically, let me copy and paste this. Okay, so what this is going to do, it's going to basically store the value of this function in this variable here called sum. Okay, this is the name of the function, which obviously refers to this part. And these are the variables that are getting passed through this function. Let's copy and paste this. Do the same thing for times. So we're going to create a new variable called times, and we're going to be looking at this function instead. So function underscore f underscore times. Okay, so this will basically multiply the two values and store it in this variable, and this one will be adding two values and storing it in this variable here from the function fsum or f times. Right, now what we need to do is we want to output the results of these variables here. Okay, so we need to use inner HTML. So let's type in document.getElementById, and we want to refer to the first one, which is going to be addition. Okay, dot inner HTML, and what we're going to have is equals. We're going to have num1, okay, and we want to join it to num2. But what we want is, I want an addition. So the value of number 1 is going to be shown here. This plus is going to basically concatenate, join the contents of this string. And what we want to add to this is num2. Okay, so we're just basically referring to the variables. And what now we need to do is click on plus, or close, plus speech marks equals, and then the result of this variable here, so sum. Okay, and let me just copy and paste this again, and we can do the same for the multiplication. Let me just zoom out so you can see all of this code. So this time we're going to be not looking at addition, we're going to be looking at the multiplication ID, and it's going to be num1. Instead of adding, we're going to be multiplying num2, and we want the output from this variable here. Okay, times. So just before we go ahead and run this program, we have two identifiers which are blank. The contents will be coming from here, from this inner HTML. Okay, we're basically concatenating the variables to some strings and then outputting the contents of these variables. Okay, so this function here will add up the two numbers, and this function here will multiply the two numbers. Right, let's save this. Let's have a quick look and see what happens. So we've got number 1, let's type in 3. Number 2, 5. So 3 plus 5 is equals 8. So you can see the plus has been joined on and it equals, and then the contents of the first variable, the sum one, and then 3 times 5 is equals 15. Okay, now there's something else. Okay guys, so that's that program done. Fairly straightforward. So the first program where we're looking at some functions. Okay, please show me in the next video. We're going to continue looking at functions, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail, hopefully. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys next time. Please drop your comments below, like and share, and good luck if you have exams coming up as well. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.